All right, here we go. It's really weird looking at both of you, but welcome. Hi, I'm Katie McCabe,
Stephen McCabe.
and you're listening to Just Diagnosed. Today we are here with my mom. So we're going to have her on in a couple sections, but we're going to get through some of our regularly scheduled podcast updates first. You excited, Dad?
Very excited. As a matter of fact, I looked at the title that you had on there and just brought some tears to my eyes.
Oh, good. Well, I am excited to do this episode with you. I think, we've talked about having guests on, and it's actually harder to schedule than you would have thought.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Yeah, we're excited to have my mom on this podcast so that we can give you guys some more insight into this journey other than just what I'm feeling, what my dad's feeling, and obviously our main caretaker for him. So excited to see how this episode goes.
Yes, I can't wait.
We've covered some really heavy ground lately, and while that's still part of the story, today we're going to be talking more about life around the diagnosis and
Yes.
stuff. So let's start with the beginning. Clinical trial update.
Yep.
What's going on?
Oh, it's crazy. Right before we started, I had this coughing fit and I couldn't get it to stop. So thankful it's gone right now. With the clinical trials, for those of you that remember from the last episode, I was hoping to get into a trial where they actually inject the herpes virus into you and then use immunotherapy. However, they called and they said no because of my AFP levels.
Yeah, and we touched on that last time, and why that was so hard and awful.
Yeah, and what's crazy is my numbers were going down a little bit,
Right.
and I had to get to 650, and they were high. They dropped about 75 points, maybe 50 to 75 points.
Yeah.
And with a healthy diet, I feel like they could have gotten lower, but they're not willing to wait.
That sucks. How does it feel about the not willing to wait thing? I mean,
Yeah, well, I really maybe should have said not willing to wait. There was only going to be 30 spots on this trial.
right. I mean, there's no room to wait for
There's
you.
no room to wait for me. They have to find people that have this cancer and move forward to get the trial. Because trust me, if they do this trial and it works for a year, and I pray to God that I survive a year, that it might be available to me.
Yeah, it might have a wider audience that it would be open to of people that are outside the approved numbers.
Yeah, because it's crazy. They want the ideal candidate. After speaking to a doctor from another hospital, yeah, they want an ideal candidate for these studies. They're not willing to. I believe they're not willing to take chances with people that are not the ideal candidate.
So talk to me about other clinical trials. Obviously, we have a section later that we want to talk about what you're doing next week, but like any new updates there?
Yeah, so I did get a call. I am so sorry, people, about that. The same company, the same place where we went to for the herpes trial, they called me and said, we think we might have a good fit for you. And it's for a drug that's in phase 2. And we're going to learn more about it tomorrow, because tomorrow they have me scheduled for CAT scans, bloodletting, consents, where you got to sign that, hey, if we kill you, we're not liable, all that fun stuff.
Ugh.
But this drug is this drug is in phase, like I said, in phase 2, and they had success with it on bladder cancer.
Okay.
So they have not tried it on liver cancer, from what I understand right now. Now, this is really new to me, so I'm still learning a lot about it. So, in the future episode, I'll know more. But they said I'm probably a really good candidate for it. The only things I have to worry about are some of the side effects. After I do all the studies tomorrow, like I said, the CAT scan, blood, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, where they, rebill your insurance and make you do the same tests over and over again.
Yeah, but on Monday I have to go for a vision test.
Oh, wow.
There, one of the side effects is going to be blurred vision.
And how does that make you feel?
A little nervous, but if I could be alive,
No,
and it
absolutely.
works, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
I'm at the point now where I got to try anything.
No, you do.
There's no one cutting into me. There's no chemo. There's no nothing. It's now a matter of finding a trial and let's get going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
That's exciting to hear. So what with that, do you feel like there's a bit more direction this week for you and what you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely more direction. I mean, again, it's amazing when you talk to them. They sound so positive on what they can do, and I buy into that.
Right.
So, and I feel like there's direction, there's purpose, and I feel like I could be a good fit for this one.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is your mindset shifting as the forward path evolves in any way?
I wouldn't say it's shifting. It's just frustrating. You gotta stay positive. You gotta, keep the faith, but it's challenging. I mean, like we said in almost every episode, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're going to have ups. You're going to have downs. You were here the other day. It was a big downer when,
Yeah.
when they found out I wasn't eligible for that one trial that they wouldn't, give me a chance on.
Yeah. Well, after, I mean, it's really hard to see, your parent be so devastated like that. But I think that it's refreshing that you were willing to share like that side of yourself with me. It's
Oh, yeah.
helpful for me to see, your bravery and your strength of going through it.
Oh yeah, it was good, but I think what broke me down is when I saw you.
I know. I'm sorry. I was only here to do a conference call.
Yeah.
I did want to ask one thing, and kind of since we've talked about, since this whole time we've joked about short-term memory loss, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard of HE?
HE.
Yeah.
The high efficiency thing?
No. Hepatic encephalopathy.
No.
Okay, so it's basically when the toxins in your liver get gassy or something, and it brings up these symptoms that come in episodes. So I wonder if you had any of these.
What an episode? What are they?
So mood changes,
Yes.
becoming irritable or becoming euphoric.
Yes. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with everyone.
And that's
here.
why we're sharing it.
Yeah, I'm going to be. I mean, I snapped at mom. I get frustrated, and she's doing her best to take care of me, and
It's normal.
I sometimes just I don't abuse her or anything like that. I just get frustrated and everything else.
But think about the normal marriage qualms, and you guys can talk about this in your section that people have, and then add in the life-altering, world-changing, upside-down, flipping diagnosis of cancer that is not not curable.
Right.
I can only imagine how that affects your marriage and stuff, and how that affects how you guys communicate. That has to be really hard.
Oh yeah, it has its moments. I mean, mom wants to do everything for me, and I still want to try.
Right.
I still have independence. Don't get me wrong, but I
some weeks
still want
it's
to try to
harder
do
for
some
you.
stuff. Even though if I can't do it, I still want to try to do it.
Yeah. So becoming irritable, check.
Yes.
Sudden personality changes, depression can be common. Outright rage is very common. Paranoia can even happen.
No, none of those. I have none of those things right there.
That's good. Fatigue more than normal.
Yes, my fatigue and my shortness of breath. It's funny how we can go on this podcast.
Yeah.
What's that thing that they call that you have? The energy.
Your stamina?
No. Like if you're in a car wreck and you can lift the car
adrenaline.
up. Adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have adrenaline
No, you do.
on this show.
Yeah.
And then, because before the show, I was coughing up a storm. I was a tough time breathing. And then after the show, because I'm talking so much, I want to be exhausted.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I feel like you really pull it all together, and I really appreciate that you do, because this is fun. I feel like we get to do this. Okay. So fatigue more than normal, problems with small motor skills like writing, typing, holding a fork, or holding a glass. You had any of that yet?
No, the only thing that I feel has changed, but some people might disagree with me, is, and I think it's because of this, is, I think my eyesight when close up is a little bit more challenging.
That makes sense. Okay. Cognitive problems, not remembering a date or a year.
Yeah, I do have some short-term memory stuff.
Forgetting words or stopping mid-sentence because train of thought is gone.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Messed up sleep time, sleeping during the day and staying awake at night.
No, not at all. I can't. I really don't sleep during the day. Do I have sometimes tough time sleeping at night? Yes, but I think that was originally because of all when I was going through the treatments.
Yeah, A and B. Loss of appetite.
Yep.
Nausea.
So.
Dizziness.
No.
Inability to hold hands or feet steady. If held out in front of you with like your palms facing down, cannot keep hands in that position.
Nope.
That's good. Hard to wake up, but will eventually wake up. Yeah, you're not
Nope.
there. And coma.
Oh. Hey, what's the rule?
I know. I'm going to
What-
pull the plug. I have the
There you go.
ending power, and no one else is going to be able to do it because they'll be too distraught. Don't worry. I'll sneak in the middle of the night, pull it right out.
There you go.
And you got the same for me.
Yep.
God forbid. It's never going to happen.
Yep.
But this is the thing with liver cancer, and I wonder if you heard of it, and I actually found it in our liver support group that you've so joined me on and
Yep.
Facebook. And I thought it was really interesting because I had actually never heard of it with liver cancer, but it is from the toxins that are like building up in your liver. So be on the lookout. So now you know all the symptoms.
Yep. Hold on, I'm gonna cough. Oh, sorry.
I thought that was a fun game to play.
Yeah, no. But some of those things are true.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that there are things that, they obviously are side effects of just having liver cancer and having all these tumors on your liver.
Yep.
So to see, what you're going through is really interesting.
Yeah, and the group that we joined,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. I mean, some of them I go right, I just scan through the story, but some of them are pretty good. But some people have some really good questions, but no one ever answers them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but remember what we talked about before, I think last time is like every single liver cancer case is so different.
Oh yeah, totally different.
And I think I'm less of a poster and more of a reader, and maybe that's what we can contribute is
Oh yeah, no,
commenting more.
Yeah, no, I was gonna make a nice long post on there, but I just haven't done it yet.
See, maybe they're just waiting for your answer
There
on the
you go.
post. Okay, well, Dad, go ahead and tell me about your dream job.
Oh, my dream job growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
I would say one of two things. One, I probably would have loved to open a restaurant, like a pizzeria or a bagel shop. And the other one, which is, it's funny you should say this, bring up this question, is because I would have loved to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
I think I would have done a good job. As a matter of fact, I was going through, in your phone where you have your notes section.
Sure.
So when, years from now, when I pass away, you all are going to have to go down. There's a notes section about all the skits that I wrote.
Oh my gosh.
And a lot of them are based on true stories.
Of course.
You want to hear one?
I would love to.
So this is, to me, this is hilarious. Might not be hilarious. To
All right,
Well,
wait, let me introduce you as
Okay.
this is Steve. Welcome, applaud crowd. Woo!
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. What a coincidence it was today that my son and I flew in for a wedding while I knew I was going to be on stage this weekend. Yeah, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. So one thing that I can't stand is Bluetooth. Bluetooth is horrible. Oh my God, it is so bad. So on the flight down here, before we get on the plane, I started downloading some. I'm getting a look. So I downloaded some, it was like a pod, it was kind of like a podcast, but it was like a comedy thing. And I believe it was John Candy and this lady. And I was so excited because I was got my new Bluetooth, things in my ears. I was gonna go, listen to it while on a plane right down from from Florida to New York. So we get on the plane, everything's going good. We're taking off, flight takes off, everything's great. So then I go and I connect my Bluetooth, and then I press the play button, and then what do you know? With my headphones, they don't work. And guess what? The first sentences are coming out of this comedy show, and I got it loud. I mean, I forgot how loud my phone was. When was the last time you had a dick up your ass? Oh my God! And this is a true story. Yeah, it's hard. And then all of a sudden, everyone is turning around, and it's still going, and they're still talking. And my son's like, Dad. He takes the phone from me. He's trying to stop it all, everything else. And I mean, no lie, everyone's turning around and looked to see who the clown was. And it was me, with this Bluetooth stuff. So then I'm like, oh, okay. So everything finally settles down. And then we're just, getting ready to land in New York. Then I'm like, oh shit, you know what's going to happen? As soon as I stand up, they're all going to turn around and look at me because they're going to say, that's the douchebag that didn't have his thing set correct. And then, thank God, we had horrible turbulence on the way back down, getting down there. That plane was rocking really hard. And as soon as we landed, everyone was applauding for the pilot on how great it was. And that was my saving grace when I got able to go off the plane and maybe one person, possibly two, might have looked at me funny.
They forgot about the ticket.
They did. Oh my God. That is such a true story.
You would be a great comedian. That was really good.
Yeah. I mean, I need a little work on the stand-up part of it, but I got story. I got a lot of stories.
You got
like
stories.
That. I have stories.
Maybe you should start filming yourself. Take this podcast equipment when I'm not here.
Exactly. Maybe I should do my own YouTube channel.
Yeah, you should do your stand-up over YouTube. That would be great. You could layer in some laughing.
Yeah.
Should I layer the backtrack in your story?
Yes, if you could, that'd be great.
I'll layer it.
I'd love to hear that.
I would love to do that for you. Yep. Well, that was it, you guys. You experienced my dad's first live podcast stand-up comedy debut. He's fulfilled one dream of your dreams.
Yep, I have. Now I just got to do it live. It's funny. Can I say one more thing about stand-up comedy?
Say it.
So in our fantasy football league, the first year that we started it, it's all these guys, we've been playing together for about 4 or 5 years now, but we always have a punishment at the end of the year. And the one punishment was whoever lost in last place had to go do a stand-up routine at Snappers up on, US 19 on open mic night.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, he killed it.
Did he really?
He really did. There was these other young guys that were going up there. There was nobody in the audience except for us because it was like on a Tuesday night. I think it's where people get to rehearse their stuff.
Sure.
But he actually did a better job than these guys that are really trying to hone on their skills.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Have you ever thought about going yourself?
I have, but it's timing is trying to get time to go do it.
Would you want to go by yourself or would you want people there in the audience?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
first time. Think about the very first time you go.
Very first time. Well, if I'm using live stories from things I wrote, some people might be a little pissed.
I wouldn't care. I'd do it. But
well, not pissed, but they would just be like, "Oh my God, that story's about me."
Nah, they might be honored. But would you? How do you think you'd perform better by having people in the audience, or like that or not?
Yeah, I think I kind of think I would. I think they would mellow me out.
Yeah,
they would mellow me out because I know they're all there rooting for me.
I think we should do it.
I think we should too.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna hit that 2-drink minimum.
Yep.
Not you though.
So true.
Okay, well, another question that I had when we talked about dream job. Do you have a bucket list? Like a list of things?
None actually written down.
Yeah.
Mom and I have things we want to go do.
Yeah.
But there's, that mentally we never really wrote them down or anything like that.
Yeah, maybe you should write them down.
Yeah.
I think one thing that this journey has kind of made me do is also think about all the things that I want to do in life.
Yeah, you should definitely plan on things you want to do because you never know when your life's going to turn on a drop of a dime.
Yeah, this is. Well, let's get into some exciting stuff about next week.
Yeah, so next week, Mom and I are flying to Houston.
Leaving us for Easter.
Yep. But unfortunately,
this is worth it.
This is worth it, Oh, you remember my other business venture I wanted to get into?
Not my inmates.
No, it was on Worth It Restaurants.
Oh, that was a really good one.
That was a great idea, wasn't it?
That was 10 out of 10. I actually am shocked that didn't go further than it did.
I know. I had the website. I had everything.
The Instagram. That was your Instagram.
Oh,
forever.
We interviewed restaurants and stuff. But I forgot what happened with that.
I wish that TikTok had been a thing when you and I were like peak 2014,
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. The personality, the self-appreciation. We were willing to try anything back then. I mean, you literally made a social media site for prisoners. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't prisoners.
It wasn't for prisoners. However, people did think that they were communicating with inmates at one point. However, that's part of that's my stand-up routine. What did your dad do?
Well, now we got to tell everybody the whole story.
Okay.
I'll do it really in a couple sentences.
Go ahead.
Okay, the whole thing about that website was that you had your own inmate number.
Yeah, it was safety online.
And you would never have to use your name, anything else, stuff like that. But then again, looking at all the laws and everything that changed today, that might not have been a good idea.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I always wonder how like
Yeah.
privacy stuff would have evolved with that. But no, that is 100% going in my stand. Well, like we should all have to go up and give a stand-up routine
Yep.
one
Yep.
day. I would not be good at it, but that would definitely be mine. So
Yeah.
you're going to MD Anderson.
Yep. So we're flying up on Wednesday for 3 days. We have to be there for 3 days so they could run all their tests and everything.
And so how does that work? Because I know you guys are there over a weekend. So don't say the exact days that you guys are going, but like they can run tests like 24/7.
Yeah, it's actually a hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, and meeting doctors. I'm sure they're going to run all their scans that they're going to want to run, and they're one of the number one. They are the number one specialist for liver cancer.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that they are going to have some options for us. And you know what? I'm going to really be pissed. So they've asked me, what do I want as the outcome of
Sure.
this visit?
Yeah.
And it says, I want to hear some options.
Right.
And I wouldn't say I'd be pissed, but I'd be really disappointed after they know up front that I'd love to hear some options about what can be done.
Yeah.
But if there's nothing, then I just want them to say, unfortunately, you're too far gone. There's nothing we can do. But I'm not that they're going to say that, but I just really want them to be honest and, have options for me.
But I think it's realistic to believe that unfortunately that's like an outcome that could happen. I don't want you to set yourself up for, anything. So like
Right.
so in setting yourself up for anything, have they preliminary looked at your numbers? Have they, reviewed anything?
Yeah, I got an email from them, from the nurse that's handling our case. And, she asked, when was all that scans, blood work? So I sent it all up to them. So they should have that.
Okay. And so, but when you get there, you have to redo it all again.
I'm sure, well, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to have their own stuff. They're going to probably want to draw blood work and everything else as well.
That makes the most sense.
But I really don't know what to expect when we go there.
So we kind of just touched on that. Like, what do you hope to get out of this? But in an ideal world, like, let's say MD Anderson is your oyster. Like, what do you think would be the best treatment forward? Do you think it's surgery? Like, I don't even know at this point.
I don't think I'm eligible for surgery at this point.
Yeah, I know you're not eligible, but let's say like that some guy is willing, crazy doctor is willing to get in there and like, jigsaw knife around.
Yeah, no, I'd have to really see and have, some long conversations about that.
And like think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say? Like, and then, so do you think there's like different types of immunotherapy, like
Oh yeah, there's
radiation?
there's all different kinds of immunotherapy, and there's, who knows what's out there.
I don't even know.
I would have never thought of injecting herpes into a tumor,
Still the craziest one we've heard.
right? And I was so looking forward to that.
I know.
It's crazy, really
Yeah.
weird.
What is your gut telling you about this trip? Like deep down, don't sugarcoat it for me. La la la. I won't listen. Like
Yeah.
what, honestly, to the people of the world, is your gut telling you?
My guts tell me they're going to have options. I really do. I think they're going to have some options that might be different from other hospitals. They might have the same option that the one with the bladder cancer with that drug.
Yeah.
They might have that option as well. But I don't know because, we spoke to other, cancer institutes and a lot of them don't have anything.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Yep.
Frickin' sucks. Well, let's get to our favorite, most exciting part of the hour.
Oh my God, this is the best part of the hour, at least for me, and especially when I read the title, that was awesome.
So, I'm going to introduce you guys first, and I'm going to ask my mom a couple questions. My dad will get to ask my mom some questions, then I'll follow up with some more questions, and then we'll just see what she has to say for the rest of it. So, I want to introduce you guys to my mom. Her name is Cristina. She is the light of our life. She is my best friend. I talk to her 17 times a day. It's crazy that we're psychic at this point. We literally just think of each other and one of us will call each other. She's been a rock for me during this process as a daughter going through this with her father. She's been a rock for my dad as the one going through it. She's been a rock for the entire family as someone who, has to get on the phone with us and describe everything that's going on. She translates to doctors. She is just the best woman in the world who does it all while still trying to keep it together for her kids and her husband and every other person around her who wants to break down at the same time. So I can't look at you right this second.
I can't either. It's funny.
But we're going to start off with something light to ease you in.
Well, let's
to
just go say
podcasting.
she is the real
yeah.
MVP.
Yeah, she is the real MVP.
I mean, the real MVP of our whole family.
Yeah, we don't get to say thank you enough. Still can't look at you because I love you and I tell you thank you all the time. But we would not be able to do this podcast without you. We would not be able to set aside this hour and sit here and talk about all of the silliness and seriousness of stuff if it wasn't for you taking on so much of the hardship for us. So I love you. Okay.
I don't know what to say after that. That's kind of overwhelming. Thank you. You're very sweet.
So go ahead and tell the audience who you are.
Well, I'm Cristina McCabe, and I have the lovely blessing of being married to this man.
How long have you guys been married?
We go back and forth on this, but we've been together a really long time. We've been together more than 35 years, and our 34th wedding anniversary is this year.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Can you think back and share a quick story about when you and Dad first met?
Oh, gosh. He walked in the room with his Howie Long haircut and his Holiday Inn blazer. And a friend of ours wanted to introduce us. And he walked in the room, and it was day because he was a night manager, and the light behind him just illuminated him, and he kind of glowed. He walked in the room, and I was getting over a not good relationship, and I always joke that I had a neon sign over my head that said run. And he walked in, and I was a goner. I mean, just a goner. I guess that happened in February, and we didn't even start dating till April.
Well, I heard, yeah, you weren't sure if you wanted
I wasn't
to date
sure he really wanted to date me.
And here I was thinking about you were going to talk about the canoe trip where
No.
you almost got me eaten by alligators.
We're not talking about the canoe trip.
I'm going to ask about this one at a later date.
Oh, no, I knew. I remember after we went on our first date in April and calling my mom the next day, and I said, oh gosh, Mom, I'm going to marry this man. I just knew.
What's something that people might not know about you and Dad?
I don't know that, well, I mean, people that are really close to us know that really we'd rather be together than with anybody else. I think that's really kind of unique. Like, we've worked together for a pretty long time.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Like you guys had Extreme for over 10 years.
Yeah, more than 10 years we worked together. And, some days we would like to throttle each other, but for the most part, we really love, maybe he doesn't, but I do. I want to be there.
Good. That's sweet. So what is something that we should know about you?
I am the luckiest person. I have the most beautiful family. I have the best kids. I really do. You're amazing.
So
Your brothers are just so good and so kind. Really, as a family, just the most loving, caring, compassionate people. We don't always see eye to eye, but definitely the most compassionate. And I am so blessed to have 4 grandkids. I can't even breathe. Sometimes they're just my everything.
you've got a good life you guys built.
Yeah. Who knew?
Well, let's get into the deep part. Dad and I have talked a lot about that first couple moments, like that first couple weeks, and like that initial shock of how that felt for us. So like when you guys were in the ER and we all thought it was his appendix and they said that they saw masses on his liver, I think that this might be helpful for any other caregivers out there. Like what went through your mind at that moment? Like that initial first, think back to holiday time. Like what was the first thing you freaking thought of?
It's just like, oh God, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very real.
Yeah.
Did you think that you were having a hallucination or anything?
Right. The doctor was so unsure that he had the right person because, your dad's young and he's healthy and just the picture of health.
Yeah, he's a lively guy. Everyone that I show him to.
6'5",
Yeah.
looks 240, not anymore, but a big guy
Right.
and just full of life and vitality. And no, I was like, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong. Sorry.
It's okay. These are real feelings. And I think that it's helpful to share, how hard it was to go through that.
Yeah. And then probably at some point in the coming days, you expect somebody's going to pick up the phone and call you and tell you the test results were wrong. Or I was praying maybe that would happen. It just totally out of left field.
Yeah.
Never would have thought in a million years. And certainly not him.
No, right.
Right? Not him. I mean, my dad died of colon cancer. I was probably about your age or was diagnosed when I was about your age. And I had young kids and it was brutal, right? And it was a rough road to go through, but we had 10 more years. And so all of my siblings and I have been tested and constantly having colonoscopies, I feel like. And finally, my doctor was like, all right, enough already. You're clean. You're fine. You don't have to do this anymore. We'll do it again in 5 years. And that was a big relief. But I just didn't expect this from Steve. No, I think if anything, we would have thought a heart attack or something like that. Certainly not cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's none in his immediate family.
Right. Same.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would have thought. What has surprised you about this journey?
I think how resilient your dad is in the face of all of this. That, we've definitely had moments. And I would expect probably there to be more. But he's just, he has moments and then he comes back just with a superpower. And it's good. And I'm proud of it.
What has surprised you most about yourself with this journey?
God, how much I cry. I don't know why that surprises me, but yeah.
I think that's normal. I cry a lot. Kendall listens to me cry a lot. Praise my husband. I love him. Doesn't deal with tears well, but he's gotten used to it, right? It's like hard to allow myself to cry. And of course I don't cry in front of my kids or anything, but just it has to be hard.
It's so hard
to just be able to feel like us as moms. It's nice to have a woman here to talk to, but that we can just let ourselves cry because we're always trying to hold it together to be around other people. And I hope you can always cry with me.
I do. Thank you. I feel like my latest is I'm always in the Target parking lot bawling my eyes out on the phone with my sister or you. You're right. I tried really hard to hold it together. I don't think that going through this cancer that your father's going through in this direction, this road, this unpaved path is fair for him to have to console me too.
Yeah. That's a very profound thing to say as a caregiver. You don't have to do that, but you're very strong for doing so.
I don't want him to hurt.
I know.
Boy, this is really emotional. Now I know why when I walk back in the room after you guys have been doing podcasts, you guys are wrung out.
It's a lot. So kind of in the same thing, crying in the Target parking lot, our new favorite place. Talk to me about your support system. How important is that?
I do not know what I would do without this amazing network. It's really this amazing network of women that are, starting with my sister and then my sister-in-law, Kati, who constantly texts me, I guess you would say cousin-in-law, aunt-in-law, my other sister-in-law in New York, all of those women that reach out, these amazing, amazing women from my work. Oh my goodness. Today, I opened the mail and there was a box from my leader who, God love her, she's the best, and sent this beautiful care package and a gorgeous note and sweet, kind thoughts and well wishes from all of my teammates. And I just the women that I work with, the guys are pretty nice too, but
Yeah, you know the girls planned it.
I just, sorry for sniffing on your microphone. Just these women, just, I can't. Like Lily and Liana and my friend Chelsea, and just so many of these wonderful people that check on me. My friends Mary Jo and Renee, who just so many that just never let up, constantly checking in on me. I just don't know what I would do without them and you.
I love you.
I love you.
I think it's important to have a support system and to be able to rely on your village in this time. You know, I think that that's the whole village mentality, right? Is like pouring into others' cups so that they'll pour into yours. And I think you've done such a beautiful job of like demonstrating that to me on like how to be a good friend. And unfortunately to my friends, I'm not being a very good friend right now. I feel like I love them all, but you know, it's hard. Like I feel like I really self-isolate in this time because I'm just so frustrated. I just want to hang out with my family. I don't want to do anything else, you know? And I think that you've made a real priority to be there for so many other people. And that says something really lovely about you.
Well, thank you. You're very kind. You know, they really, these women really keep me together because I don't know what in the world I would do. And I think that that's something that's really important when you've got somebody that's going through this, right?
Yeah.
To help. That phone call, that text, it's everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you don't answer it for a couple of days, like
Yeah.
it's so, I know that my best friend never judges me when I will get back to her 3 days later and she's asking like, check in, how are you? Like it means the world.
Yeah.
It's nice because it's hard to deal with feelings and it's hard to deal with feelings of something that you can't control, right? That's the hardest thing. Like we can't just solve this for dad. I'm your daughter. I was made from you. So I know my inclination to like fix things.
Fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. And to step in.
It.
Yeah. And to want to like organize it. And there's just nothing we can do here. Do you feel like anyone's pouring into your cup lately?
Yeah, I do. I think you check on me all the time and it's very selfless. I think it's just checking in.
Yeah.
I think like you said earlier, you kind of withdraw, and I do that on a Tuesday, right? Because my life is hectic and I just don't have bandwidth sometimes. Like that's a normal thing for me that I can only do so much. And I have a lot on my plate. I am blessed to have this many loves in my life that I want to spend my time and energy on. So I remember many times that my friends are like, you got a lot going on. You're okay. And I appreciate that. But honestly, it means so much to have check-ins and people that just bug you. Pick it up the phone. They're not mad at you. They just call you anyways. I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks, but they don't say that. They just are like checking in. How you doing?
Nice.
My leader, every week, if I haven't heard from her by Wednesday, something's wrong. Like she texts me every single week. My other buddies, all the time. I haven't talked to Chelsea since Tuesday, and something's probably wrong.
She's a little busy.
Shout out to Chelsea. She's always calling me. It's really lovely. And my sister, of course. Just I think that the number one thing that I have learned from this is it is so important when people are going through it to don't let go of them.
Yeah.
Just really hold on to them and keep texting and keep calling. And oh my goodness, my friend Diane, who's actually your dad's friend, Diane, who's part of our world that manages to bring dinner, and her entire New York family shows up for dinner. They don't stay for dinner. They just come and share their love and hugs and everything. But she orchestrates it all. It's everything. I'm glad that people don't let go of me. And it's reminded me that when I have other friends going through this, to not let go of them.
Thank you for sharing that. What advice do you have for other spouses or even loved ones, you know, who are caring for someone that has cancer or just got a devastating diagnosis?
I don't know. I think give yourself grace. It's hard. And give your partner grace, whoever is going through it, right? That there's a lot of emotions. And I think it's really important that, it just gives people room to feel all the feels.
And allow yourself grace for when you don't give grace.
that too.
I think that's important. I think that sometimes like we can all get frustrated with different choices that we're making or that we think someone else is making in this journey. And really, it's yours and yours alone. And we just gotta, or dad's and dad's alone. And we just gotta, you know, sometimes I can be annoyed about that, but I gotta give grace when I don't feel like being that way. So
It's
I
hard.
appreciate you always leading that by example because I can definitely get annoyed.
You're allowed. It's frustrating. And I don't think that people understand unless you've been through it.
Right. I don't know the right way to handle this. Like, I don't even always say the right things on this podcast. And I appreciate that, you allow grace for that and are teaching me how to do that.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to hand this over to my dad so he can ask mom some questions.
So, but before I ask mom some questions, can I ask you, you're the producer? Can we get a bigger budget so we can get a third microphone?
We
Okay.
literally are passing microphones back and forth.
So
Yeah.
we can approve the budget even though you're talking over there and they can't hear you. No idea what you're saying.
They really are good.
They can't hear you from this? Wow, that's crazy. So
As the investor in this podcast, will you approve of our budget increase?
yes, we'll get another microphone.
Okay, good. Actually, I did buy these with my own money. Thank you for the
This
first
was a
one.
Christmas gift,
Yeah,
wasn't
this was
it?
your Christmas
Yeah.
gift, so you could buy the third microphone.
Yeah, I could buy the third microphone.
Maybe we should get 6 and then just have our entire family on here all at once.
That'd be funny.
Okay, here you go. Here's my mom. I'm out.
All right. If all 6 of us are in a room together with microphones, no one will get a word in,
No, they won't.
but it'll be fun.
No, they won't. All right, honey. So it's just you and me.
Hey.
Hey, I love you. Sorry, I had to tell you. If this podcast goes viral, I want everybody to know that I love you. So with that, what's the hardest part about being a caretaker right now?
Trying not to bawl all the time.
And I don't.
We really don't.
No, we don't. I
We
don't
really keep it together really great, but boy, every once in a while, right?
Yeah, and I feel bad that you have to go to the Target to cry. Your safe space? No, I'm just kidding.
Actually think what happens is I'm going to run errands and I end up on the phone with my sister just bawling. She picks up the phone and I'm like, wah.
One thing that this podcast is out to help people.
Right.
And one thing, would you mind sharing about FMLA?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I think it's important that people know about that. And so if you can share just a little bit about that, would be great.
Sure. So I guess it's the Federal Leave Act, or however my daughter in the background is saying Family Medical Leave Act. When we got word that your tumors had increased, doubled in size after your 3rd treatment of immunotherapy, I don't know who made the decision, but pretty much my leader called me and I shared what little I could talk about, and we all made the decision that really I needed to take some time off and that it was important. And I was so grateful that I've worked for this company for 25 years. I think everybody that knows me knows I've worked for Marriott for 25 years. And everybody just reached out, and from HR to my leader's leader, my leader's leader's leader, who's now a VP of, I don't know, everything at Marriott. And they just all reached out and put their arms virtually around me to tell me to take the time that I needed to take care of you. And I think that's so important. And it gives you 12 weeks to be able to take the time that you need with your person. And as a caregiver, I was entitled to that. I didn't have to be the person that was injured or ill. It could be as a caregiver.
And then if I can share something on that, there's no way I could have done this by myself. I mean, if you were still working or, a part-time, I mean, the situation I'm in right now, yeah, I don't know where I'd be.
Well, And I appreciate that, but I think it's important for people to know that you can also take it as an intermittent. And initially, when you were diagnosed, my leader and I had a conversation about doing it on an intermittent basis. And I was able to take the time off to be with you for those treatments during those first 3 months. And that was wonderful. And my work didn't suffer and everything was great. But when we got the news that your tumors had grown so drastically, I think we all realized the magnitude of the situation, and everything just fell by the wayside. And I was so thankful to be so supported. And the wonderful thing about it is that this Medical Leave Act would protect your job if you came back to work. And I think my company would embrace it anyways, but it's lovely to know that whoever you work for, it's there for you. And it was lovely to be so warmly met with this option.
Yes, and I could agree with that. They have been amazing to you. How lovely they've been to you, everything. So thank you very much to all your people.
My ASO team.
Yeah, ASO team. So switching the topic a little bit, can you share, is it frustrating dealing with all these cancer centers?
You know, the frustrating part is there's no follow-up. Absolutely none. I think that my sister, and I told her I was going to quote her on this podcast when I found out I was invited. I think my sister put it best, and she said, the American medical system is set up to where you go and book your appointment, you see your provider for the 25 minutes that you're allowed, if you have 25 minutes, and we have not many times. And then if you don't book a follow-up visit, crickets. So whether you were in immunotherapy or looking at a drug trial or anything, there is just no follow-up. It has to be us. It has to be you. And I know that you aced most of those symptoms that Kate was talking about earlier. Yeah, for HE. But I don't know, as sick as you were with side effects from the treatment, I don't know how you would have followed up.
Oh God. Right? Wow. No idea how I would have followed up at all. I couldn't eat, couldn't move, coughing all the time, itching all the time. You name it, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Just getting your scripts refilled. I mean, just everything that has to happen. It's just a lot. I think people don't realize how much falls back on you.
Well, I'm just going to say this. People don't realize how much falls back on the spouse or the significant other that they have, because you're my lifeline. And, till death do us part, which, we'll be together forever. But, yeah.
I got you.
It's there's going to be a lot on a spouse or significant other that you're with. They're going to be your person, and it's not going to be easy. Just so you all know, it's not going to be easy.
Well, I think having a really good partner is important for a lot of reasons. A, you can't drive most of the time now.
I don't think I've driven in about a month.
Maybe more.
Maybe more.
Yeah. The medication.
I feel like I got to, ask mom if I can go have pizza with my friends.
Mom will drive you to go have pizza with my friends.
And mom has driven me to go have pizza with my friends.
Yes, I have.
And then I was like, Mom, I just want an hour. You can be back at about 12:10, okay? And then she shows up early.
That's what it feels like, dropping you off for a play date.
Oh my God, that's a riot. Oh yeah, I need to. Oh wait, I got to add that to my. Sorry.
You got to add that to your stand-up playlist.
Sorry, people. This is what it's real life. But yeah, that's gonna be part of my stand-up. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's so good, honey. What has changed the most for you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I think I took for granted just the daily stuff. And I wake up each day thankful. Yeah. I just think it's changed the way that I look at things. I'd like to think that I had a grateful heart always. I like to think that my parents raised me well to appreciate life daily. And yet I find myself more and more grateful for every moment.
From my perspective, sorry, it's tough. I mean, I feel so bad of all the things you do because you do a lot. I mean, 80% of my day is sitting in this recliner. You know,
At least you got a recliner.
Yeah, at least I got a recliner. But it was
4 years of marriage for you to get a recliner.
I know I had to get cancer to get it. What? Another stand-up routine. There you go. Just right themselves. Just came right to the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, you still had to prove the colors and everything else.
Well, I'm not a monster.
No, you're not. You're not. But I mean, frustrated is not the word, but I feel so bad when I see all the things that you do. You know, I can make a huge list, from the laundry to, because I used to do my own laundry, taking out the trash.
I was going to say, we should stop right here because you have been a great equal partner. When we came into this marriage, pretty early on after you dyed everything pink, we decided you do your laundry, I do mine, and you don't dye my clothes pink anymore.
Right.
So I think it was mutually beneficial.
Yep.
Maybe it was more beneficial for me, but you really did pick up your own stuff. And then we had children, and we both were hotel people, and we had to work odd shifts sometimes and cover for each other. And so many times you had all 4 kiddos, and we did not use the word that daddy was babysitting, that they are your children.
They are my, yep.
Yep. And you can change diapers. You could change diapers just like the rest of us.
Hey, I was really good at changing diapers.
You were amazing. You had an assembly line of legs in the air. And I remember walking in and watching you quickly change all 3 boys with Katie handing you diapers and wipes. It was amazing. And Kate was maybe 4 when all the babies were little. We had 4 kids under 4. And I think most people know that, but it was quite the assembly line. You were incredibly efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but I think you were a
equal
great
partnership.
partner.
Yeah.
But it's really different now because...
Oh, it's really... I mean, for another example, I can't stand it. I really can't cook anymore.
Right.
I mean, to me, cooking is a stress relief.
It might be because you don't like my cooking. Can't stand it.
No, you cook good, but I just, you do it all. I mean, I walk to the kitchen counter and then I got to sit down because, I could barely, and I try to chop an onion right there while I'm sitting there, and it's tough.
But I appreciate you chopping that onion because it's really hard for me.
No, but I mean, getting back to it, I really appreciate everything you do for me because, yeah, we've had our relationship was great. We, when with the kids, sleep times, everything else, making sure everyone, we took care of each other.
We did.
We one didn't slack over the other. Which I hope you feel that way.
I do. I think you're the best partner.
And, now it's, I feel like I'm slacking. And
I want to point out something else. I gave birth to these kiddos and you took care of me. Mm-hmm. I had surgery a year ago. You took care of me then. I had surgery on my foot a couple years before that and you took care of me then. I jumped in the water to save the dog and sliced my foot open and you took care of me then. And you've been a great partner, and now it's my turn to take care of you. You've not had any babies.
So pretty much as part of my stand-up routine, I got to calculate how many hours I took care of you, and then since now I have cancer, I can tell you how many more hours you got to go for me.
You got it. I'm in.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
It's a good thing I took that medical billing class.
Good thing.
Good thing. Well, I love that you're here. I love that you're on this podcast.
For having me.
I love you so much. I appreciate everything you have done for me and the family. I mean, I hope all the kids appreciate you as much as I appreciate you. And one thing I want to tell the kids when they listen, seriously, I miss hugging my mom. I miss my mom. I don't want you guys to miss your mom either. So call her, text her. Give her a hug. Tell her you love her. She's not going to be here forever. But I'm going to tell you right now, when we go, you're going to miss them. It's horrible. But it's the truth. I should end on that. Here you go, Katie. Because we don't have 3 microphones, I'm giving it back to you.
That was really sweet. I'm crying. Same goes for you. Hug your dad, hug your loved ones. If you take anything away from our podcast today, it's just give someone a damn hug.
Yeah, and a box of Kleenex, apparently, because goodness gracious.
Well, thank you, Mom, so much for being on our podcast today.
Thank you for having me. Love you guys, and I appreciate the podcast that you guys are doing. I bawl in the car listening to it, but it's lovely and it's fun, and you guys are killing it. So love you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, let's do some listener questions.
Oh, no.
We had, well, actually, there is one for Mom here, which might be more emotional. This was asked a couple weeks ago, but we'll do the one for Mom because you're still here. You haven't walked away. Any words for caregivers listening who feel invisible right now?
Hang in there and cherish the moments. Just try to, if it really feels like you're invisible, just try to, obviously, I guess it's good to have somebody to talk to about how you're feeling, and that would be important, but to also recognize the value that you're bringing to the situation. And, I remember when we had a health scare when we delivered the babies, and I just felt like one of us had to be strong for the other. And we did. We kind of took turns through that, and everything worked out great, and the baby was fine. But I think it's really important that you take care of each other and you keep the goal in mind. Hope that wasn't too long-winded.
That was good. Thank you. So Dad, this is from someone. What's something simple that helped you feel like yourself this week?
Something simple that helped me feel like myself this week. Notice how I repeated a question so to give me time to think?
Yes, of course. You're very good at that.
Oh, thank you. Something simple. I went and got a pedicure this week.
How was that? We always know that's your fave
my
things.
God, that was amazing.
Yeah?
And we go to the one place, and the lady, does it. She knows.
She knows you.
She knows me, but she knows I have, the stage 4 cancer, all that stuff. But man, she gives the best massage on the feet and the legs and everything, and just love it. That was something that was it.
Good. So we're gonna go around and share one thing that we're grateful for this week on our 2 mic podcast with 3 people.
So how about you start us off?
I will start. I am just so grateful for 2 amazing, loving parents who've had a 30+ year marriage, who made me, obviously, and I'm perfect the way I am. But really, I am so grateful for you guys always encouraging, me to do anything I put my mind to. Wouldn't be here talking to you guys if I didn't have that encouragement. I am grateful for your love for each other, for showing me what a good partnership looks like, for showing me, how important it is to be able to rely on your spouse. And I'm so grateful for you guys showing me what it looks like to go through hard times, and that the hardest part is not always the hardest part. And you can get through anything as long as you love someone who's next to you. So grateful for you guys.
I guess since I have the mic and we don't have 3 mics, I'll go get next. Yeah, I'm grateful for the real MVP, and we know who that is in this room.
Yeah.
I mean, I really am. I'm not going to get emotional. I promise. It's the kids, grandkids. You guys aren't here all the time.
No.
And it's not easy. And she is the real MVP, and I am very, very grateful for that.
I think I'm grateful for hope. And so
I think we've set a record this week.
Oh gosh, right?
Crying.
Tuesday was bad.
Yeah.
And when they called to tell us that they wouldn't even consider letting your dad have another blood test. Yeah, after they did all the testing, and I am going to correct him. It wasn't his AFP, it was alkaline phosphatate.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I think that it just crushed us again to have had so much hope that they were going to pull us through. And then to turn around 24 hours later and bless her heart, right? Yeah. And come back with another, here, you can do this test and you can get on this particular drug trial, and just giving us hope.
But I must admit, with that, we did make some phone calls
A lot of phone calls.
after we were told no, and to try to make an appointment with the doctor.
There was
And
some begging.
there was some begging, and then somebody called right after that.
Yeah.
So just a reminder to the listeners, you got to reach out. You got to
Follow up.
you got to follow up. You got to follow up. It wasn't like they just called out of nowhere. I think it was because we called the doctor, we spoke to the nurse and everyone else and said, "Hey, that trial was nothing, didn't work out. What's our next game plan?"
Yeah, because we have found with major hospitals that we've spoken to, not MD and not Moffitt, that really they just move on a little too quickly. And quite frankly, it's just they're overworked and they have too many people and things like that. So you've got to be your own advocate. And I pray that all patients have somebody that somebody can advocate for them.
Good job. Well, I'm going to close this up here. Dad, any other thoughts that you want to share?
No. I thought it was a great podcast today.
Maybe one of our longest yet.
Oh, that long?
Oh, we're over an hour, baby.
Oh, that maybe okay.
And I think back to like this first podcast, and you were like, "How long is it going to be? Like 30 minutes?" And I'm like, "No, we're going to get deep. We're going to get in there." Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Please keep sending us your questions. This journey is one that is made of many roles: patient, caregiver, advocate, and family. So just a reminder to be there for your friends and family. And we're so grateful for those who reach out and check on us and are just there for us through and through. But if this episode spoke to you, share it with someone walking a similar road. We would love if you share our podcast.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us online. You can follow us on Instagram at JustDiagnosedPod, on TikTok at JustDiagnosed, or you can look at our website, justdiagnosedpodcast.com.
Sounds great. Perfect.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.